You fill it out without rushing. Name, address, date. What happened? You've already spoken to someone. They said it sounded straightforward, a routine claim. So the form feels like paperwork, not danger, just the last step before things get sorted. You tick the boxes confidently. Theft, loss, damage, covered. Then you reach a question that slows you down. Not because it's confusing, but because it asks you to choose. Was the item unattended? Was it secured? Was anyone else present? You pause, reread it, and answer honestly. You always do. That's when the shift begins. Because a few days later, the claim doesn't move forward. It comes back with a request, clarification, more detail. The tone is neutral, polite. But the assumption that this was routine is already slipping. This starts with a stolen bike, locked outside a shop for 10 minutes, gone when you came back. You report it the same day. You know how this works. You've paid for cover. You've had it for years. The form just asks you to confirm what you already told them. You say it was locked. You say where. You say how long. You don't exaggerate. You don't soften anything. You send it off and expect the next message to be about replacement. Instead, the next message is about responsibility. They want to know why it was left there. Why that lock? Why that location? Not accusing, just asking. Each answer feels reasonable on its own. Together, they start to rearrange the story. The bike didn't stop being stolen. It stopped being the right kind of stolen. Another version happens with a phone, dropped, cracked, unusable. You remember the moment clearly. You even remember thinking, at the time, that it was annoying but manageable. You file the claim later that day. The form asks when it happened, where, what you were doing. You answer plainly. You were out. You took it out of your pocket. It slipped. You don't try to frame it. You don't need to. But the form doesn't just record events, it sorts them. By the time the claim is reviewed, the focus isn't on the broken screen. It's on the context you provided, the movement, the setting, the sequence. Somewhere between one box and the next, the loss becomes something else. Still real, still yours, just no longer recognized in the same way. The form didn't accuse you, it reclassified you. Homes do this, too. You report damage, a leak, a broken appliance, something that clearly caused harm. The form asks when you first noticed it, not when it happened, when you noticed. You hesitate, then answer. Yesterday, last week. You're not sure. That answer matters more than the damage, because the system treats noticing as a kind of involvement, a moment where responsibility quietly shifts. The damage doesn't disappear. The claim doesn't explode. It just slows, then narrows, then lands differently than you expected. What's unsettling is that the form feels like protection at first. A record, a safeguard, a way to make sure nothing gets misunderstood. You fill it out carefully because you believe accuracy keeps you safe. But accuracy is exactly what sharpens the edges. The mechanism isn't punishment, it's sorting. Claim forms don't decide what happened. They decide how what happened will be understood. And once that understanding is fixed, everything else follows. By the time you realize this, the claim is already shaped. Not denied outright, not approved cleanly, just positioned somewhere less secure than before. You didn't take a risk by lying. You took a risk by assuming the form was neutral, because the form doesn't exist to help you explain what happened. It exists to decide whether what happened still counts. And the most uncomfortable part is why this works. You trusted the process. You trusted that telling the truth would protect you. You trusted that routine paperwork couldn't change the ground you were standing on. But the moment you treated the form as harmless was the moment it quietly turned your loss into something you had to carry yourself.